Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Smaldone here, and what we have on the screen is something that looks a lot like what we had in class at the end of class yesterday, with a couple of exceptions. You'll notice that what I have is I've got the chords of C major. A C, this would make a C major chord, a D minor chord, an E minor chord, an F major chord, a G major chord, an A minor chord, a G major chord, and a C major chord. Right? That's a figured bass, because with nothing underneath those figures, it implies that we would make each one of those whole notes into a triad in root position. The figures under the other notes indicate the number 7, which means go count up in this key with this key signature to the 7th note. In a couple of cases, you need to modify the 7th. So the flat 7 would mean a B flat. 7 would mean a C natural. Flat 7 here would mean a D flat. And flat 5 would mean a B flat also. Here, I don't know how to fix that. Sorry. The F sharp, we want a flat 7, which means we need an E flat. With the G sharp, we need just a 7, which is an F natural. So the figures are giving you directions as to whether you need an accidental or not. But what we're going to do is deal with this as a practical matter. What you're going to do is you're going to play this. Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write it out, okay? So that's what I'd like you to do. But when you're writing it, really what I'd like you to be able to do is to play it and then write it out. But I understand that might be tricky. But what you're basically doing is you're going up the C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A. And then you get to A, to La, and then you go down to Sol, Do. But you put a leading tone to each one of those notes. So then the leading tone to the D minor, then the leading tone to the E minor. I'll back this out a little bit so you can see both hands. Then the E to the F, you already had. We're going to turn that into the leading tone and then go to the F chord, then the leading tone, then the leading tone. And then you just do 5, 1. And when you do that 5, 1, you're going to end up here. And if I move my hands in contrary motion to the bass, that's what I'll get. Okay? But what you need to do is to make each one, so that C sharp is going to be a leading tone 7th chord. So it's going to be, here it is. It's going to be that leading tone 7th chord. Now, it's not sitting there in snowman position the way we did it in class. It's broken out a little bit. That's going to be the leading tone to the E minor chord. And I just realized I needed a sharp 3 there, so I'll fix that. Now, what you need to remember, and I'm going to notate this here, so that E chord, no, this one. Yeah, this one needs if I put a sharp all by itself, it means sharp the note that's a third higher than that, because you need a D sharp and an F sharp and an A and a C. When you are constructing these chords, one of the features that you should keep in mind is that there are only 3 diminished 7th chords. Once I play this one, this is the one we did in class. I'll do it over here. We did that one in class. That's C sharp, diminished 7th chord. If I do the E diminished 7th chord, I'm using the same note. I'm going to call it D flat instead of C sharp. And then I'm going to call this an F flat instead of an E natural. And I'm going to call that an A sharp, C sharp, E, and a G. In other words, you have this C sharp, you have the D, and you have the D sharp, and that's it. When you get, if I keep transposing that up one more time, I get to the same one I started with. I'll do that again. C sharp, D, D sharp, and now I'm back to the first one. So the spellings are going to be different, but you've only got those 3 different combinations of notes to put under your fingers. So what I'd like you to do is to do this, write it out, basically write out what I just played and submit it, and then I will make sure that you did it right, and then we'll send you off the second week, and you will practice playing that both in the key of C, as it's notated here, and in another key. I would recommend either F or G. And again, if you're in the key of F, you're just going to play the notes of the F major scale. But you're going to play the chord that belongs to each of those. That would be an F chord, a G chord, G minor chord, A minor, a B flat chord, a C major chord. Sorry, we're getting off the camera here. Where did I end up? I was a C major chord, and then a D minor chord, which is La. And when you get to that 6th note of the scale, you just go 5-1. But what you're going to do is insert a diminished 7th chord in between each one of the diatonic chords. So you start on the F chord, then you put the leading tone 7th that belongs to that. Then you put the leading tone 7th chord that belongs to that. Then you repeat that note because it becomes the leading tone 7th chord that belongs to that. Leading tone 7th chord that belongs to that. And you got to 6. Once you get to the 6th note of the scale, you just go 5-1. Okay? So, and that'll be for the following week. But I'd like you to do that other key, whether it's F or G, without writing it out. I just want you to get some practice playing the various diminished 7th chords, recognizing them, understanding how to spell them. Because when we go and find them in literature, it's really, there's only 3 of them. They're just kind of in disguise sometimes. So you want to be familiar with these. All right. That'll be it. See you.